I've been planning to play this series and review this game for really long time, but for some reason I was postponing it. And well, it was actually my huge mistake, because now I understand why people love this game, and well, I guess I will join their ranks. And as you can guess, in this video we will be reviewing Civilization 6 and whether it is worth it to buy for the price that they're asking this year or not. So without further ado, let's just get it started. For the ones who knows what Civilization games are, and for the ones who just want to know the answer to the question whether it is worth it to buy right now or not, I'm not gonna be wasting any more of your time as always, and I'm gonna be telling you the answer right away. Yes, the game is absolutely worth it to buy, and you're gonna get much more than you're gonna pay for it if you know what you're getting yourself into. So let's just discuss that and let's get it started. So what is actually Civilization 6? I really don't know anyone who would not actually at least know what Civilization game series is, but in 2 words, let's explain very basics. So Civilization 6 is a turn-based strategy game where your goal is basically to lead a civilization from the early ancient ages to, well, modern era. In this game, instead of nations, you're actually choosing a leader, and you're taking this leader, or nation if you want to call it, through the various stages of technological and societal development. The game is happening on a map that is happening on a hex grid, and on each turn you have limited amount of things that you can do. Well, actually your units have limited amount of things that they can do. And this is as simple explanation as I can give it to you, because this game has insanely deep and variable gameplay. If you're gonna get a very base game and, well, nothing else, because the game is incredibly customizable and got through a lot of iterations during these periods. Very basic gameplay loop is, well, the same as in every other strategy game. You establish a city, you build different buildings in the city, or rather queue different buildings because it takes time. You build different units, you survey the map, you meet other nations just as you are, or you meet barbarians, or that you will destroy, or that will destroy you, which should not be happening, or you will meet other city-states which you can actually interact with as well. As you expand, more and more of the map will be filled with the nations that you're competing against, until you'll start competing against, well, other nations. And as you progress through the game, you progress through different eras. It gives you access to the different technologies and abilities. And you progress through the game until you reach your winning conditions. Whether it will be the conquering entire map, or be most technologically or socially developed country, or just dominate everyone with your religion. The game is insanely deep and fun, and I really don't want to spoil anything that you can do in this game, just because you need to discover how many things you can do in this game. And actually the first thing that I would ask if I was searching for the reviews for this game is, what about the map? What kind of maps you're playing in? Yeah, okay, of course the maps are divided into hex grids, but is it an Earth map? Is it a procedurally generated map, or what it is? Well, actually, the game gives you a different variety of the maps that you can choose. You can actually play a completely procedurally generated map, and each and every nation will be thrown into different parts of the map. Or you can actually choose a regular Earth map, or Europe map, or Asian map, or whatever type of the world of what you want, and play on the random locations for the nations. Or you can play with the historical locations with the nations. And here the variety is actually pretty huge. As for the scenarios, there are a bunch of different scenarios, and probably most interesting for me was a zombie scenario that you can play with this game. Yes, you can actually have a zombie scenario with which you are actually playing in a zombie apocalypse kinda, and you have to fight with a zombie horse as well. Again, I don't want to spoil it to you, you have to experience it yourself. What about the leaders and the nations? Are there many different varieties? Well, there are a lot of nations there. There are actually 50 plus different leaders of the different nations, and the variety is actually pretty intense. And the thing that I haven't seen any of the other games. And I was actually very surprised to see my nation and one of the old leaders of my country in the game with very accurate representation and very accurate national songs. It was actually a very cool thing to see, and actually what sold me to the game, to be fair. And all of those things make this game incredibly deep and very great experience. But is it all fun and rainbows, and will it be for everyone who likes any type of strategy genres? Well, to be fair, kind of not. If you're used to real-time games and block very deep strategies and deep tactics of controlling each and every individual unit on the battles, well, this is not that. For some reason, people think that this is kind of like a Total War game, but instead of the free movement on the map, you have the movement on a grid, which is very wrong. You see here, you don't really control the battle. You like take your units and clash it against the other units, and yeah, the battle just happens there. And just battle happens there with an RNG, of course, counting your technology, your unit number, your unit health, and a bunch of other things. But this is more like a simulator of the controlling of a nation, not the simulator of controlling the specific, well, battles. If you're interested in just battles and want just very intense battles, things like that, it's not that. Plus, the beginning of the game, the first maybe 50 to 100 turns are pretty slow because the map is not entirely populated yet. You don't have a lot of units, and it takes quite a lot of time to actually build out your city, or rather build out a few of your cities and build out your armies and build out your economy. It takes quite a lot of time in the beginning, and sometimes, especially on the lower difficulties, it can be, well, how can I say, a bit boring. But as you progress through the game and as you progress through a few eras, the game is becoming much more interesting, and you will have to do much more things. And another issue lies with the multiplayer. And no, multiplayer is not bad. Multiplayer is actually pretty fun, and you can actually play with a bunch of other players. But you see, on the later stages of the game, because you'll have to control a bunch of other things, the more players there are, more you have to wait for your turn to actually do something. You see, you have to wait until all the other players did their turns, and then you have your turn, and all the other players need to wait for you. And sometimes it can take quite a lot of time. It's like very long game of chess. It doesn't make it less fun, but it just takes a bit more time. And yeah, some leaders in a multiplayer, well, they're not that well balanced. Some are insanely powerful, others are pretty weak. So yeah, you have to be wary of that as well. But I'm pretty sure before you get to multiplayer, you're gonna learn a lot of things about this game and just know exactly what you want from the multiplayer and exactly which lobbies you want to get yourself into. But enough mumbling, let's go to an actual meat of the video. What about the price? How much will it cost you and what you should actually pay for it? Now, base game is available on Steam for the base price of $59.99 for tier 1 countries and $29.99 for tier 2 countries, and it can go as low as $8.99 for tier 1 countries and $4.49 for tier 2 countries. Now, game is pretty old now. It's been a few years since the game came out, and it has quite a lot of expansions and DLCs. So paying full price for the base game actually does not make any sense. Not that it's not worth it, it's actually very worth it for even the full price. But please, 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 if you value your money, please don't buy this game for the full price. The game is very often on a sale, and if it's not on sale right now, it will be on a sale in just a few weeks. Just wait for the sale and pay the discounted price. $8.99 and $4.49 is absolute steal for this game. But there is one thing. The base game is actually a husk of a full experience, what you can get from the actual full game of Civilization 6. Because the game has been expanded with quite a lot of expansions and the DLCs, you actually kind of need those. And for that reason, game has a New Frontiers pass as well, but it also has an Anthology Edition, which I myself actually purchased. Anthology Edition actually contains, I think, almost everything that Civilization 6 has, including the DLCs and expansions that actually gives the game quite a bit of additional flair that makes this game practically a must-buy. So for the Anthology, on a discount, the game costs $29.88 for tier 1 countries and $17.25 for tier 2 countries. This is actually much more money than for the base game, but this game is absolutely worth it for this price. If the game is on a sale right now and you're looking whether you want to buy the base game, New Frontier Pass, or the Anthology version, go for the Anthology version. It has the most complete experience of the game. It has all the nations, all the units, and all the expansions that you need. Go for the Anthology version and get this. So now let's go to the verdict. Is this game worth it? Well, 100%. If you're looking for if you're looking at a discount and you don't want to spend a lot of money, if the game is on a sale, the game is absolutely worth it for any edition that they ask. All of them are actually absolutely worth it for the price. Just please don't get this game for the full price, not because it's not worth it. It is worth it, but because you just don't need to pay for the full price. Well, and yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun from this game. This will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you ever played Civilization games and which one was your first? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'm gonna see you in next one. See ya.